Welcome everyone to the Natural News Show. I'm your host, Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. And today joining me in the studio is the founder of a company that makes the very best superfood product, a whole food-based superfood meal that our readers are raving about. Welcome to the show today here, Casey Craichy and his wife, Monica. Thanks for joining me today, Casey. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Now, how did you get started in this company? I mean, it's been so successful. You've had so much interest in your products, and yet you don't necessarily have a background in, natural foods, but you had a transformation that got you going in this industry. How did that happen?
Well, it started out that I was an overweight kid and an early adult and figuring that piece of it out. But then Monica's story was really, she was Miss Florida, and then she was Miss Florida USA, and competed both Miss America and Miss USA, and got third runner-up, and first in swimsuit at Miss USA. I'm telling you this because she was the picture of health. And a short time later, we were married, and she came down with panic attacks and suicidal thoughts and clinical depression, and the doctors were literally making it worse. So you want to mention that, the drugs were not the way. We figured that out in just a couple of weeks, frankly. And so I basically made a decision at that point I was going to dive in the literature, and I was not coming out without an answer.
And so this product was the answer to help solve Monica's health challenges.
Initially I thought clinical nutrition was the answer. It was going to be the answer. But it turns out that there's other elements that go along with that bring it all into light. And so my book, Super Health, I talk about the 7 areas that we discovered in the literature that were so founded in the literature that really proved her to be deficient in all of them in retrospect, and clinical nutrition is a hugely important piece of that.
Then were you able to get off of all prescription medications then?
Yes, finally. We did it for about maybe, 2 or 3 weeks, and we knew that wasn't the way to go. So, but like Casey said, in retrospect, I was completely deficient in all 7 areas.
And that was 6 years ago, you said?
That was 14 years ago.
14 years.
Yeah.
And now since then, Living Fuel has grown to be the leading superfood nutrition company in North America. That's an incredible achievement.
It is. Well, when your mission is to change lives, and our mission first was to change Monica's life back to normal. And so, these foods all follow the parameters that we learned in the literature. But at the end of the day, we built it in my kitchen over a year's period of time. And when we finished, it was tremendous, and we told a few people about it, and before that year was over, it was in every state in the United States.
That's a great lesson, and I just want to show those watching, if you do have a health challenge, it's really important to find the answers yourself, inform yourself, empower yourself. And Casey and his wife Monica created an entire company out of finding their own solutions here through Living Fuel. You may be able to find your own solutions, and this may be part of your solution. But even if it isn't, keep educating yourself. Now, what are you doing right now on livingfuel.com to keep people empowered and educated beyond just this product?
Well, we focus on the areas of peak performance, diabetic revitalization, family health, and weight optimization. And so most people can find themselves into one of those categories in one way or the other. But when you follow superfood nutrition, which is what we came up with, we call it the 4 corners of superfood nutrition, it's a tremendous impact. I mean, the literature is very clear. If you cut the calories but max out the nutrients, you're going to extend life, delay disease, enhance performance, optimize weight, all the things that we would look for, quote, in the fountain of youth.
Right.
Okay, but Americans don't like to be hungry, as you well know. I mean, the caloric intake in America has increased by 25% over the last decade alone.
But isn't it true that a lot of that hunger is driven by the fact that so many people are eating too many calories and not enough nutrition? They're empty foods. I noticed that when I started using your product that I felt full on a lot less food quantity.
Right. So people think that they have to carbo load. That's a tired theory in athletics, for instance. People even believe that in their own lives, that they could carbo load for breakfast, for instance, and make it to lunch. I always say carbo loading is like filling the gas tank, and then when it's totally full, you roll down the back window and fill the back seat. Your body has no capacity to deal with that. And
right.
You say we have 2/3 of America is overweight, some significantly overweight. And so, but what I found was that obviously people don't want to be hungry, but I was looking into this. 2,000 research studies says that this theory, cutting the calories but bumping up the nutrients, is going to change lives. But now the argument is not whether or not it works, because 2,000 studies says it does work. The argument now is, why does it work? So one group of scientists says, well, less food equals less glycemic response, So therefore, less glycemic response is the reason low calorie works. And they've proven it in studies. They've done 150% of the calories in a low glycemic form, like greens instead of grains, and shown similar results to the low calorie way. And so the other half of the science that says, no, the reason it works is less food equals less oxidation, less combustion in the body. Therefore, less food equals less oxidation or higher antioxidants. One of those two is the reason low calorie restriction works, and they've proven that in studies. Right. And so then the last little piece of it was that the right oils, the right fats, the right fatty acids combined with the right antioxidants will extend life, delay disease, enhance performance, and all those things all by itself without another change to your diet. And so the revelation I had was you put all four of those together, which we call the four corners of superfood nutrition, and it's highly impactful. It really does amazing things.
I think highly impactful is an understatement. From what I've heard from my readers, this has transformed their lives in tremendous ways, helped people overcome chronic degenerative disease. But I have a question for you, Monica. Do you drink this every day for breakfast, or how do you use these products in your own life?
It's really a staple. Now we have 5 children, and Casey and myself, we all take at least 1 fuel shake a day, and we're always doing the oils every day as well, at least that. But I find myself having maybe 2 or 3 of the coca chia bars as well, because that's the healthy fats. And the thing about our products is it's the maximum nutrition per calorie.
Exactly.
It's nutrient density. So you don't really have to have a ton of calories, but the calories that we do eat are just, crammed with nutrition.
Absolutely. That's why I bring your products when I travel, as I am here, and I have your products in my hotel room, and that's what I'm drinking every day. Well, we're about out of time for this segment, but I want to remind you to check out the website for Living Fuel, which is www.livingfuel.com. Check out the Living Fuel original formula, which is a greens formula. They have a super berry formula, and they have a healthy oils product called Super Essentials, which I strongly recommend. Check that out. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that later. Thank you both for joining me on the show today. It's been a real pleasure to have you both on.